The last thing you want to hear when you need your auto insurance most is a robot with countless irrelevant menu options. Which is why with USAA Auto Insurance, you'll get great service that is easy and reliable, all at the touch of a button. Get a quote today. Restrictions apply.
Welcome to another episode of Quick Drag. Here we are for All Stars 10, Episode 5. Title of the show, Rappin Roasts. There's a Rappin Roast. Who knows? But as usual, I'm going to tell all the dirty details of this episode, and there are some dirty details in this episode, to my good friend Lori Roggenkamp, who does not watch the show and is just following along just like you with these Quick Drag episodes. But before we do any of that, let's actually get to some show business here. As you know, I'm always talking about Patreon, and every week it gets better and better and better and better. Hundreds of hours of free content. Download the Patreon app. Subscribe to Afterthought Media. Look up Afterthought Media. Find Afterthought Media. Subscribe. I'm telling you. And then you're like, well, I don't know. First of all, I think you should pay. Let's talk about that. If you just join at the premium level, which is $5 a month, you get Drag Race Recap before the public feed. You also get it commercial free and the entire episode. So you get the entire episode, no commercials. It's a pretty good deal there. You also get I'm getting confused here on my own stuff. If you just join at the free level, you get the many live shows. Live recordings are open to the free members. And on the free one, you get hundreds of hours of content. Plus, you do get the Drag Race recap episodes, but just 2 weeks later. So if you're willing to wait 2 weeks, or maybe you're not watching it, maybe it takes you a while to watch it, that might be a good option for you. They come out the full episode, no commercials, 2 weeks later. So there's that. Then the premium level, you get all the drag content, $5 a month, commercial free, full episodes right away. Executive tier, you're going to get Just Between Us Girls and a whole bunch of other free content. And then you go to exclusive tier, that unlocks a bunch of shows. And of course, expensive tier, which is sold out, that unlocks a bunch of shows too. Well, no, more content. It just goes up and up and up the content. But that's what I'm trying to tell you guys is patreon.com/afterthoughtmedia. I've also mentioned before, what if you don't want to subscribe to Patreon? You wanted to stay in your little universe of Apple Podcasts. Well, you can scroll right up and just pay like $6 a month or something, and you get the full episode of the show at the same time as everybody else. Full episode, no commercials, and you also get Just Between Us Girls, but that's the only content you get. You get no other access to any other content. And then you can also just buy Just Between Us Girls straight up over at patreon.com/afterthoughtmedia or on the app. So many things. I got to get better at doing this. But now that I've wasted enough of your time, let's call Lori and talk about what happened on today's episode of RuPaul's Drag Race All Stars 10, Episode 5, titled Rappin Roast.
Hello.
Oh my God, Lori, you are in for a doozy today.
Okay. I need a doozy.
Oh. Hey, well, you know what's a good question? What is a doozy?
I think it's like I
don't know. Anyway,
an event that has a alternate outcome that was not expected.
Is it true?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Well, you're in for a doozy then, because let me just, before I even tell you what happens in this episode, I'm going to recap for you people listening at home who aren't maybe watching along with the show. Is they have these MVQ points. So the people who weren't in the top. So let me just recap. If you're one of the top 2 queens of the week, you automatically get 2 points. If you win the lip sync, you get an additional point, right? So like the winner of the episode gets 3 points. The other winner, but didn't win the lip sync, gets 2 points. Then there's this thing called for the other 4 queens, the MVQ point. So everybody has a point to give away. And one of the things, that's been sort of annoying is for the most part in the previous group, if you remember, they were all just giving it to each other.
Yeah.
So
there wasn't really a game plan.
No, there was no game plan, right? And so you were thinking like, okay, well, this is what they're going to do. Maybe they might benefit each other a little bit. I don't know, but it was for the most part, they were just giving them to themselves in an alternate way. And so everybody was just a rising tide, So, okay. So what happens on this one is after the previous episode, which is, again, just a brief recap. We had an episode before this. It was the 8 Ball, and Lydia Butthole Collins and Tina Burner won. They were the top 2 queens of the week. Mistress was close behind. She was in 3rd place, but she didn't make it to the top 2, so she got no points. And she was kind of butthurt about this. I didn't watch Untucked, but I heard in Untucked she thought she was going to be in the top 2. She was convinced of it, right?
Oh, okay.
So she's kind of butthurt. And so Lydia won the lip sync. So she walks into the workroom with 3 points. Tina walks in with 2 points, and everybody has a point to give away to each other. Okay. Now the other 4 queens are Nicole Paige Brooks, Carrie Colby, Mistress Isabel Brooks, and Georges. They have points to give away. Okay.
Okay.
And they're like talking like, how are we going to do this? And Nicole Paige Brooks is like, well, I think we should just all there's a new group, so they're not used to this. So she's like, I just think we should all give each other a point. And then Mistress and Georges are being kind of weird, and then Carrie's like, yeah, I guess we should all have a point or something like that, And so Mistress was like, okay, this sounds like a good plan. Go ahead. So she was like, why don't we do this? Why don't we have Carrie give Georges her point? And Brooke, Nicole, you give me your point, and then we'll give them vice versa, right?
Okay.
And what's funny is Nicole turns to Carrie and is like, okay, well, Carrie, I want to get in. And Mistress interrupts, like, no, you have to give me your point. And then I'll give you my point. And she's like, oh, and then Nicole actually gets kind of suspicious. And she's like, what's going on? She goes, why don't you give me your point first? And Mr. like, oh, see how you're being, see what you're doing. You're being fucking shady. I knew you were going to be like this. Yada, yada, yada. And so Nicole's like, okay, fine. Here's my point. Now give me my point. She goes, no. We're going to go in order. And then Carrie gives her point to Georges. And then Mistress and Georges give their points to each other. So they essentially stole the points from Carrie and Nicole thought they were going to flip the votes, like swap votes and points. They didn't.
Yeah.
They took their points and then they give the points to each other. So now the standing going into the next episode is Tina has 2 points because she won one of the top 2 winners. Mistress and Georges have 2 points. Lydia has 3, and then the other 2 girls have 0. They have nothing.
Yeah.
And Nicole and Carrie are pissed off. They're like, oh my God.
Oh, I bet.
That's a betrayal. This is horrible. And Georges and Mistress are just full on laughing. They're just like, oh my God, you should have seen your face when we did that to you. And they're like really, really upset. Okay. And then I would say that is the big drama of the week. Okay.
I gotta be honest though, clearly that was what was gonna happen. I don't know. I feel like when somebody's when lays it on, oh, I know you're gonna be immediately at my shackles go, and I'm like, oh, you're a scam artist. So I feel like that should have been a clear giveaway to me.
I can't give my opinion. I'm saving my opinion for the recap. But if you're welcome to give your opinion, you don't have a recap show.
I am. I'm giving my opinion right now, but I won't give my opinion for anything else.
Oh, interesting. So then the next day they come into the workroom and Lydia, who's just won, she's this little twink, and Tina's been flirting the fuck. Tina, you can tell, wants to fuck the fuck out of Lydia, right?
Okay.
And Lydia goes...
Is she dry rating across the room when she talks to her? Essentially.
So they walk in and then Lydia asks if she can be Mistress's drag daughter again. And Mistress is like, okay. And you can tell that pisses off Tina Burner. Right. And then Nicole, who Mistress stole her point, comes for Mistress again. They start accusing her of like, oh, because Mistress says like, yeah, I'll be your drag mom. And then Nicole's still bitter from the day before. And she's like, oh, look at you just throwing your drag name around. I know I wouldn't do that, blah, 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 blah. And then Tina gets involved and she tells Mistress and Georges, here on out, you guys have to give your points away first. We're not going to let you just, you know, do that to us again. And then RuPaul comes in and she announces the maxi challenge. And this week's maxi challenge is RuPaul says she couldn't decide between a rap battle and a roast. So it's a Rappin roast.
No, for the love of Mike.
They're going to be rapping, but they're going to be roasting the other queens as they rap. Okay?
Okay.
And
all right.
She also announces that this week's guest judge is Chapel Roan.
Oh, yeah. A well-known rap roaster.
Yeah, rap roaster Chapel Roan. Yeah.
And rapper and or roaster Chapel Roan. Okay.
And then from here on out, there's not that much that goes on. The girls start to write their lyrics. Because Lydia won last week, she gets to determine the order. But she's decided just to give everybody the place that they want. You know? Okay. And so she goes around the room and
there's no fighting with
Nope. And even when everybody pretty much wants something that's very easy to place them. And there's a little bit of a thing, but not that big of a deal, where Tina goes like, I'll do last or first. And then Lydia puts her first and she's like, why'd you put me first? But it's not even that big of a deal. Yeah, but that was a bigger deal last season, right? So, but for the most part, it's just like shooting the shit, where they want to be placed. It's just writing the raps, you know, a couple more shady things about Mistress and Georges, how shitty that was that they did to them. And then immediately they jump into Runway Day and it's sort of the same thing. Lydia announces the order. Like I said, everyone pretty much gets what they want. And then they're all shooting the shit some more, talking about their plans. And then Chapel Roan comes in.
Uh-huh.
And then they kiki with Chapel Roan for a bit, but honestly, not that exciting. And they didn't seem that excited to see her. I mean, they're like, okay, like, oh yeah, work, whatever. They're not like screaming or anything like that. They visit to her, and then they talk about, you know, drag as, you know, like, oh my God, this is the time drag's under assault right now. And then Carrie Colby talks about how after Chapel Roan leaves, and then Carrie Colby talks about how she doesn't really talk to her parents anymore. Particularly her mom, because they refuse to acknowledge her pronouns or the fact that she's even transgender. And
that's sad.
Yeah, it talks about that. More Lydia and Tina. A lot of more talking about what happened. You know, nothing big. And then we go to the main stage and we have the Rappin Roasts and the queens do their thing. For the most part, no one is horrendously awful. I don't think Nicole Page Brooks was necessarily up to snuff, or Carrie's, you know?
Yeah.
But for the most part, everyone's okay. Georges's was particularly good. I thought Lydia's was pretty good. People also like Mistress's. Okay. And then they go to the looks. The theme this week for the looks was Little Shop of Whores, like whore, like you're a whore, but it was still plant-based themed. And everything looked pretty good. And then they had the critiques and the deliberations. And on the main stage, they named the top two queens as Mistress Isabel Brooks and Georges. So now they're going to each get 2 points. And they lip sync to the song Hot to Go by Chapel Roan. And Georges and Mistress both won. So they were forced to split a point. So now the standings are Mistress and Georges have 4.5 points. Lydia has 3, Tina has 2, and the remaining girls have 0. And that's where the episode is.
And we have one more episode with this group, right?
And we'll figure out who's going forward to the semifinals after next episode.
Well, there's no way the other two could possibly go that have 0, right?
Yeah,
I mean, there's no way that they could.
There's no. I mean, the only way it could maybe happen, this would be a stretch. Because the way it's going to work next week is they just do who wins, and then the MBQ points are given right there on the main stage. So what would have to happen is they would both have to win, or at least one of them would have to win, and then everybody gives them their points. Because they're going to
that's not. Yeah.
You're going to need 5 or 6 points to win. you know?
Yeah, that wouldn't happen.
Yeah, so it's
Oh, boy.
possible, but it's very slim. Very, very slim.
Yeah.
All right, Lori. Well,
But this is just a lesson learned for people. If somebody tries to make you feel guilty about something, they're most likely spamming you. So just FYI.
Lori made her point known. All right, Lori, I'll call you next week with the next episode from RuPaul's Drag Race All Stars 10.
Bye.
Bye.